Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are. I'm the cartographer, and today we're doing a Dungeon Master hotline. We're gonna figure out where I and what I need to do for my life as a Dungeon Master, but also we'll share some ideas and we'll talk about what we think is fun or what we're up to. Maybe somebody will share their session. I know I had a pretty solid session on Monday. Pretty solid session on Sunday. I'm getting ready for another one tomorrow. Very exciting stuff. Hello, Serum. Hello, Stormy. How are we doing over there? Which one is the question? Hello to my friends on Kick. I've been doing really good. I've been getting busy on the exercise bike. I've been doing my stretches. I cooked dinner last night. I made breakfast this morning for the family, so it's like I've been doing stuff. I've been helping out. I folded some laundry. Um, yes, that's my right shoulder. Yes, of course. I was making a joke. As if you don't know, I did have the same surgery on the other shoulder about 2 years prior. So la da da. Okay, so what are we doing today? I know I was thinking this morning during my stretches what I wanted to do. Let me just do some refreshing stuff as everybody kind of gets in their seats and fills in. That was all some random notes that I think I need less and less the more I think about what I'm doing. As I had separated those two things. There's training times. Duke story. Tier 1, this is what's important for me. Oh, so I think I already wrote up till level 3. I think I did most of my tier 1 work. My notes. The left one's been doing pretty good. It's been the only one holding me in there, I guess, at this rate. But um, yeah, it's all. I think what I'm finding now is after the second surgery, my like general health is fairly poor. So I need to do a better job of just getting my cardio up and getting some strength and some muscle back in both shoulders, my back, my pectorals, kind of the whole body. My core is shot. I tried doing a leg lift the other day and just like I died. I literally died. It hurt. It was painful. And I was like, oh my god, I used to do freaking like endless sit-ups back when I was a young high schooler playing football and stuff. The days. So yeah, let's read. Should just bring you over to my notes. Nothing fancy, but I'll bring you over. So tier 1. The party meets at the drill field for their first day of training. They see Delphin, Undabarl, and Gren Longhand, who lead them in a magical and martial training. 2 respective roles for each member. an attack, and a skill check for each. Martial skills, acrobatics, athletics, sleight of hand, and stealth. Magical skills, insight, investigation, perception, and persuasion. Healers may forego an attack for a heal check. Heal 5/8 on a cure wound or similar spell. And then they could also make a medicine check. The party then reconvenes at the barracks to unwind and plan out their evening. The following morning at dawn, the players will begin guard duty. It's a two-part shift, 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the evening, with an hour for lunch in between. Most militiamen attend the mess hall in the barracks. However, it is not required. Each 4-hour shift will come with a perception check. Upon meeting a DC 20, a player will see suspicious activity of large crates being delivered to Lot 51, where they would see Ulkin sitting upon his front porch, smoking a pipe. The party reconvenes at the barracks to unwind and plan out their evening. The following morning at dawn, players will begin guard duty. Each 4-hour shift will come with a perception check and random encounter roll. If there is no encounter upon meeting a DC 20, roll on the random encounter list. The party reconvenes, finish their shift. The party has 12 days of downtime, which is just free time. I want to just like leave them with more time than they know what to do with. So like it could very easily be like, hey, I just go work a day job for 12 days and then I come back. It could be the party wants to go on an adventure. We're going to take these 4 people and we're going to go on an adventure to, who knows, we'll go to Dragonspear Castle, right? We'll go to the Lizard Marsh. You can go wherever you want. You could be adventurers. Let's see. Party reconvenes at the barracks for their second monthly shift. That's right, we're doing 2 days on the weekend. So this is kind of how I perceive what my party will be doing for the first 1 to 5 levels. This is more or less the first 1 to 3 levels. I have more interesting stuff for level 4 and level 5. And essentially my goal for this is like, if the players, every now and then you'll get players that say, hey, I want to follow the path. Hey, I want to just do what the DM wants me to do. And that's very much the case where the DM needs to be prepared with a narrative and a story and a mission and stuff for them to do, right? Not 100% of the time will you get in open world settings, players that always want to do what they want to do. There are some people, what they see, what they want to do is quote unquote the right thing, right? They don't have their own ideas. They like going with the flow or going with the rhythm. So this is if they do that. This is if my party says, hey, we like what you pitched. We're cool with working for the militia. That's what our characters would be into. Let's do this for a period of time and let's just go through the motions. And apart from that, what I've designed for it is a lot of freedom and liberty with structured job detail, right? So they have 2 days on the weekend which they need to serve, and they do that twice a month. So every other week they're doing 2 days on the weekend. So they know this, they can plan for this, they can expect this. The 4-hour shift is then given a 1-hour free period. So the entire day isn't just spent being a guard. They have the liberties. They have the morning, they have their lunch hour, they have the evening. So what my intention and design is for that is to like give the characters agency to utilize that hour lunch break or the times in between their militia shifts to maybe do things. They know certain people will be on the militia. They know certain guards will be doing certain things at certain times. They've walked this beat before, and they've been able to ascertain information off the wall. Now, whatever that information is and whatever they want to do with it is completely up to them. But at least they have the liberties to do things, and it's not just, hey, like this is an 8-hour job, show up and you can't do anything else. they're guards. If two of them see something on the street, they can go check it out. I mean, they're supposed to be on the wall, but it's okay if they leave the wall for 5 minutes to do some guard work, right? So they have quite a bit of agency with this position. It pays them a short stipend, it gives them something to do, and just puts them on a path of making money and being an adventurer, getting experience and leveling up in a very light, safe, hearted manner. You have to be very delicate with level 1 to 3, as people tend to die real easy. So if we want to save the narrative, I thought it would be smart to kind of do something like this. And then the 12-day downtime is just because, like, I don't want them to be like every day is malicious shit. Like, that would get so boring if it was like the same repeat thing. So now we have 12 days, and what I've created is kind of like a structure. So if the players do want to ignore downtime and they just want to go about their lives being on the wall, being militia members, rising through the ranks and becoming higher member and doing bigger quests and jobs for the militia, it's all kind of this scaling thing. But they still get this downtime. So it's like it's either or. It's like you can do both. You can just go through the motions and really focus on your 12 days of downtime, and it'll just be all freehand stuff. Or you can just ignore the downtime and just stay on this path, the straight and narrow. Like, my intention is if they are to stay on the path, they keep working. After a few successful missions, a Swansea is going to approach them for another mission, and they'll go on a ride outside of the gate to the west, and they'll fight some hobgoblins out on an adventure. Maybe they'll find somebody who needs help. Maybe they're just doing a scouting mission and something goes wrong. Etc., etc. I still have some time to decide how I want to do that. And I guess it would really depend on what the players want and what they see and what they're doing, right? I believe I would like to begin the narrative of the Flotian Estates, and perhaps a Swansea tells them that they're riding to the Flotian Estates to scout the area, and when they get there, they see how many hobgoblins are actually there, and they're like, whoa, we need to get the F out of Dodge. And after the fact, they come back at maybe level 4 or 5 with a excuse me, a larger force of militia and a prepared army of sorts. And that could be some cool level 4, level 5 stuff. But again, around level 4, level 5 is when these characters start figuring out what they want to do, who they are as characters in the world, right? So I don't want to script it too much. But I honestly think that's actually I'll just write that in now. A Swansea will find them after training to offer them another mission. She'll brief them and instruct them to acquire draft horse and meet by the caravan gate. They will ride west. So let's finish that thought. It's going to be bright and I repeat guard shifts. Okay. Her briefing is short. A scouting mission to the west. Actually, it's a scouting mission to the north. Reports of caravans and traders being attacked by hobgoblins. following morning. Let's check our encounter sheets for when we go right up here. Flotian Hills, Tier 1. Underground bees, ravens and bats, wolves, bloodhawks, giant elk, goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, giant pillars, broken wagon. Okay, old battlefield, Flotians, wizards, orcs, etc. Search for the remains for a key. That's if they find the old battlefield. The Flotian estate. Wolves, orcs, flail snail, trolls, ogre skeleton, giant skeleton. Okay. I wish I could take a peek at my my monster map, my monster manual. Looks like we had a couple people join in. Hey there, how you doing? I'm the cartographer, and we're just doing dungeon master stuff today. I'd love to hear what everybody else is working on. Let's get the hotline open. Let's get talking about what we're doing. So I guess it could be Lizard Marsh or Flotian Estate or Gillian's Hill. No, probably Flotian, just red and blue here. You can't see it, it's my monster map that I'm looking at, so I have them color coded. So I have the red Lizard Marsh, and I also have the teal Flotian. Roll. Hey, whoa. One's on the random encounter table. Red and teal. Allow for a lunch break. Ride to the foothills, the Flotian estate. So they're going to leave here out the caravan gate. They're going to ride for a little bit. They're going to get hit by a random encounter. Could be good, could be bad, who knows? I maybe even force feed them. No, I like if things being random, I guess. Hey, what's going on, Wolf? How we doing? Welcome. Yeah, I guess, what do y'all think? Do you think I should force feed them a narrative here, or do you think I should just keep it to my RNG sheets? I think this is a great scenario for them to run into. It's the broken wagon, dead travelers, DC 10 medicine check to figure that orcs killed them. The players can search the wagon for missed loot. DC 20 investigation. They'll find some cool loot that hasn't been stolen. If the players search, then you can roll for an encounter for an animal to attack them. Maybe I'll save that. Maybe I'll do something different. Actually, that's a good idea. Maybe Swansea's going to test them. Maybe I'll give them a false test that only has right answers. So the tables that I'm using for random encounters, Wolf, are compromised of random encounter tables that are actual module based out of the area. So I'm playing my campaign in Daggerford, which is a city along the Sword Coast, and around the city are several places. I think I can hold on. Let me bring my owlbear up, where I have these things in a format in which I can actually just show you. Here we go. Perfect. So Daggerford here, big dot, right? So the red zone that I have is on my own personal map is a little color-coded map, almost like I took crayons and just drew on it. So you have the Lizard Marsh, which is red. So I have by book lore-based encounter lists here. Flotian Estates, Gillian Hills, the Misty Forest, the Trollbark Forest, and the High Moors. Also the Forlorn Hills over here. So I have all these areas kind of fleshed out, and I'd say the further out I get, the more I had to kind of just narratively fill in the blanks. So it's as lore fleshed out as I can. Like, I researched what type of area it was, and I looked for monsters that would fit the bill in that area and also make sense with the current like creature climate, right? So for example, over here in the Forlorn Hills, there are some copper dragons that rule the top of the peaks, but the rest of the hills are kind of traversed and ruled by three orc tribes. The goblins can exist, but the goblins don't work for the orcs over here. The goblins work for the dragons. So they kind of hide and cower in these dragon caves, and they poke out and maraud. As opposed to down here in the Flotian Estates, where you have operatives of the Thay. We don't have tribes or open free orcs and hobgoblins. They're all Thay operatives. So the goblins, the orcs, and the hobgoblins all work together, and they operate out of the Flotian Estate as one tribe, conscripted through the Wizards of Thay, right? So there's all these different political setups that kind of exist for each area. So here's another great example for you, Wolf. So Misty Forest is a forest that is an old remnants of the Ardeep Forest, which used to span literally this entire coast, and beyond. Like, it was gigantic. It was the elvish forest of old. Sinceforth, a lot of cities have cut their way through the forest to build themselves up, and a lot of the forest is missing, and there's only just these pieces that are left. The Misty Forest is just that. It's called the Misty Forest. But the question remains is why? Why is that forest misty? And so narratively, there wasn't too much stuff written in lore, but if you know something about some creatures and kind of do some research, you can find a really good piece for that puzzle. So what I created was a dragon. I believe it's a jade dragon, or a green dragon. I forget the one. I know it's a green color. But they have a lair action which allows them to create a mist that encompasses a large area around them. So this domain is ruled by a green dragon who is old and withered and maybe has laired here for millennia, right? Since the old Ardeep Forest. They grew up here as a young wormling. And, well, also, I wanted to add, I think Stormy's right. I think it's a green dragon. We can look. The ability was on the dragon. Like, I found the right ability and was just like, let's go with it. I keep track of everything on docs right here. So, quite literally, I mean, I can go down to where's Misty Forest, my purple region. Yeah, here we go. Adult green dragon, lair action for the forest. Bada bing. There's your answer. You're so smart, Stormy. Yeah, you're 100% right. It was green. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Stormy? Do you think I should give them a roll on the random encounter list? Give them a red and teal roll, or should I give them a planned encounter? I think that's what I was saying. So that was my thought process was, if I give them an encounter of, say, several wounded travelers and set them on a moral dilemma that a Swansea, just wants to watch and see what happens. Yeah, to an extent, right? I think random encounters serve a purpose, but they definitely shouldn't be everything. And like this test, this idea, this plan, right, is what are they gonna do? What's the moral dilemma? They could bandage these people and chase down the adversaries. Maybe there's still a chance to catch up to them and they can catch them, but that might leave these wounded, worse off. They could let the adventure, the bandit party get away, and then they could run these wounded people back to Daggerford so they could get proper medical treatment. I want to add another dilemma in there, like a lucrative dilemma of some sort, where they're like, what could we add to this? I feel like I wanted to say, hey, if you chased after them right away, you could follow them back to their lair or back to their dungeon, but we already know that they've been operating out of the Flotian Estates, because that's an old thing that has been happening. So it's very much like meta knowledge. So maybe they could have stolen something important. Maybe that's what it could be. Maybe the reward is in the item that they take would make it harder for them to then assault the estate that they're going to attack, right? So maybe they took an artifact, like a necklace of fireball. Well, that's entirely up to them. I can't tell them how they want to solve the problem. And also, like, who's to say they don't have a cleric who's just like, oh, I'm just going to cure wounds these 3 people and burn the spell slots. Let's get out of here. Let's chase them down. So they'll definitely have full agency to do what they want. I just want to present them with a problem that has several facets to it. And until I'm convinced otherwise, I think I'm landing on the caravan or traders were bringing something important from maybe Waterdeep's to Bouldergate, and they intended to stop on Daggerford along the way. They liked going on the tradeway. They thought they would be fine. They're mugged, close to near death, and the item that was stolen is of magical power and prowess. And the players at level 4 and 5 will have to reapproach the estate, the Flotian estate, where these hobgoblins are located, to root them out and kind of remove the hobgoblin scourge from the tradeway. It's going to be a job placed upon Daggerford. So that inevitably is something they're going to do. So I like the idea of, if they have the gumption to maybe prevent this from happening, then it makes things easier for them down the road. And if they don't, if they choose the safer option, well, then it's going to detriment things down the road. Not that they can't do it, it'll just be more difficult. Purchased by a noble who then hired these thugs. No, so I already have this narratively set up. So I'll bring my map up. The Flotian Estates right here, Stormy, is an old area of siege. So there used to be the Red Wizards of Thay, who instilled themselves there with they had portals and stuff. There's the story of the 4 elemental stones. The stone of water was trapped inside one of the altars here, I believe. And so it became their catalyst point for their crusade on the Sword Coast. That's history. So are you already out of your ad break? It says there's still another minute left. Oh, really time to catch my breath. Ouch. All right. So yeah, so that was history as it was, Stormy. Right? No problem, Wolfie. We're just doing a little story of history here. A little history tale. So the Pholotian Estates was the old, battleground, staging grounds to attack the Sword Coast, and that's a while back. Since Forth has been dethroned, their power has been removed, and what that means, I use Google Docs, my friend. Just Google Documents. Nothing fancy. I also use Google Excel. Excel's really good for like characters and stuff because it's structured when you have to do like itemized lists. So what's left at the Pholotian Estates, my friends, is the remnants of those forces. So maybe a general or a lieutenant decided that they didn't want to go back to the Wizards of Thay and they're going to defect and they're just going to hang out here at this old estate and they're going to lay low and maybe do some raids and some bandit type work because the Wizards of Thay have fallen from grace, right? Or maybe it was a couple hobgoblins that got together and decided that we don't need to follow the general anymore. We're going to do our own thing. Either way, there's remnant troops. There's hobgoblins, orcs, and goblins that have been kind of just hanging out there, laying low for several years. But now that they've kind of bolstered themselves a little bit, they might be striking out, lashing out. Trying to make way for themselves on the tradeway by attacking trade caravans and such. A foolish idea because if the people of Daggerford don't take care of it, well then damn sure the people of Waterdeep will. So their time is nigh, but that's completely fine. We need people for this the punching bags for the story. So it's very much that's already decided. That's already there. That's the whole reason why they left the castle. Was Swansea needs to go and ascertain information about these hobgoblins that they assume are coming out of the Pholotian Estates. They would assume this. Anybody who'd been doing militant work in the area and was not a child would assume this very easily. Now the difficulty is getting in there and removing the hobgoblins and doing all that handwork. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm thinking, what's an item that they could have that would help bolster their defense? Maybe I could just go like shopping on D&D Beyond for an item. But yeah, while I'm gonna just poke around here. It's just gonna just dumb work. There really isn't much to talk about. Wolf, what's up? You're new around here. What are you into? Do you play D&D? Are you a dungeon master? Or are you into Pathfinder? What's your jam, my friend? So just that, like I was saying, so this estate is a Forever GM 3 years now, 5e, nice. Well, don't be a DM forever. Definitely, I think it's smart to get on the other side of the table every now and then. But if you like D&D, definitely do what you like to do. So yeah, for you, Stormy, the Flotian Estates are an old sun and moon elf colony slash castle slash fortification thing. So the estate is from years of old, from the time of the elves, like pre-spell plague, but it has remained there for thousands of years. It would have been ruined in the sense of it's taken several sieges in the past few hundred years, and on top of that, there's no longer a bolstering of elves repairing and fixing things with magic in their hands, right? So the estate would be very much ruined and maybe like relived in, dilapidated with some patchwork here and there. It would be very elaborate, fancy type structures. It wouldn't be your classic, crenulation stonewall castle. And is surrounded by large sweeping hills. So it's kind of at the top of a hill with a little forest, and everything kind of slopes down around it. So it's a fairly fortifiable position. There aren't any really, like, there's no river of defense for it. There's no moats. There's nothing like that. All those things would have been just done with magic by the elves. So I would surmise that maybe the hobgoblins would erect as much as they could, say some moats of their own. Definitely not on the scale of like a Daggerford moat, which is like a big one. But maybe they have some trenches dug in. Maybe they have some barricades and some spikes, a few pitfalls, layman stuff, simple stuff. There's no immediate water in the area, Stormy, so I don't see how they would be able to fill said moat without magic. So there's that to consider. Don't need to fill it. Well, that's not a moat, my friend. That's a trench. Yeah, that is very much a trench. And trenches can be used defensively or offensively, right? If you need to hold a position, gives you good cover, where otherwise there would be none. You're low into the ground, but also, like if you're trying to storm a castle or run at a fortification, having to jump over a 5-foot hole or climb into and climb up out of a 5-foot hole takes a lot of freaking time, right? Especially if you're in plate mail. Maybe Wolf just had the idea that we've been looking for, everybody. Ready, Stormy? An decanter of endless water had been commissioned from the Wizards of Waterdeep for an outstanding member of Daggerford, etc. The players find a wounded trader with their wagon that had been dismantled, and the item that is stolen is a decanter of endless water. And if they do not catch these assailants before they get back to the Flotian Estates, well, that means that all of these trenches that they have dug are now moats and are much more difficult for you to traverse. But if they don't have the decanter, then they can just be regular trenches. Yeah, it's still a magical item. But that, I guess that narratively is kind of the path or the framework that I want for this item to take. Is an item of magical power that when it gets to this Phlotian estate, it helps them in some fashion. Maybe I'm thinking more militantly when I could be thinking more logistically. Yeah, Stormy, we're having the same exact brain thought at the exact same time, right? So a decanter of endless water not only can fill your moat, but it can give you water for a whole town, a whole village, right? A whole city. That's a source of plentiful amounts of logistical resources. So you could drink a lot of hobgoblins on that, right? Perhaps maybe that's the story too. Maybe it's a decanter of endless water and it's like a large package of magical goods of like potions and lesser restos, stuff like that. Maybe it was like they were supplying the Fortune Hall in Daggerford with supplies to heal and remedy, stuff that they normally export because it's just cheaper to have the Wizards of Waterdeep do it. Or maybe it could be a like an aid or a charitable package from the Church of Shantea in Waterdeep that is granting and kind of giving a tithe to one of their sister halls in Daggerford. I think that's a better story. La da 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 dum da dum da. Dum da na na na. Every single day. That's literally a city. That's more people than Daggerford. That's 5 Daggerfords. to scale. That's 5 Daggerfords, and that's Daggerford, including like the surrounding provinces of Daggerford. So it's not even just like the city itself. Like a water cannon. Yeah, well, let's think about this a little bit more. Let's get more specific. We're narrowing our ideas. An alchemy jug? Maybe it's several alchemy jugs, and now they have oil for their battlements. They have acid. They have poison. They also have all this food. Yeah, it is. It's essentially a water cannon. You just need something to channel and funnel it. It wouldn't do damage, but I mean the time old tale about the decanter of endless water is depending on how you structure your dungeon. If there isn't proper drainage, somebody could just stick the decanter at the top of the dungeon, take the stopper off and walk away, and then everybody in that dungeon better have water breathing because it's gonna be full to the brim. Oh, it does deal damage, 1d4. All right, we love it. And I guess narratively you could add some more damage, like some fall damage if they're getting pulled down the water, depending on how big things get. Okay, so alchemy jug. No, we don't need any ideas like that right now. Everything's all kind of decided. And this is what I love about my DM style is like these aren't my decisions. These are decisions that are already decided through what is there. Ooh, I'm back. So I wanted to ask you. So I'm having an idea of what me and Stormy are working on right now in Wolf. Um, so I have a wagon of traders that have been attacked by some nearby hobgoblins. These traders are bringing some combination of magical goods down to Daggerford. And I've kind of narrowed it down to I think that maybe the larger prefix of Shantea is like maybe giving some goods to Fair Fortune Hall, another Shantea Hall in Daggerford of a smaller city. They're like, here's some charitable goods. Like here, like spread Shantea's word to like they're sharing their tithes. Inside the shipment would be several items of logistical properties of magical nature. So we started with the decanter of endless water. Like boom, bang. One decanter of endless water is you can give clean water to up to 500,000 people a day. Like it's extremely logistical, right? Um, I was like, all right, let's throw some alchemy jugs in there too. Now they can have honey and beer and other types of things from their alchemy jug, right? Salt. What are other magical items that fit that bill? I know there's the container of holding, which like preserves food, right? But what other items are kind of in that flavor? A flask of endless smoke, but would it have like food? It can be food related. It can be healing. I figured like a plethora of healing potions would be in there too. Like maybe some lesser resto potions. D&D smoke cocktails. So you gotta remember, Shantae is like a sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you gotta remember, Pixel, that it's like this is like a church. So think of it Blue Cross is like, here we're gonna send some medical supplies to a church down in frickin' wherever, or like this is like a shipment of medical supplies. Um, so like in that medical supplies they would have water, they would have food, they would have basic necessities. Um, what are other items of like low magic value that have the same container? Yep, that's how we started. That's where we how we got on this tangent. Also, what's up, Potato? How you doing today, my friend? Some blessed bandages? Are these items? The two big ones, right? The two big ones. It's a chest that holds your food, right? Was it preserving chest, maybe? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used that. Bead of refreshment? Hmm. So the parameters are I have some traders that have come from Waterdeep to Daggerford. Their wagon has been attacked, they are wounded, and the hobgoblins are running away with their loot. Um, the loot that I want to be having sent upon the way is going to an encampment of hobgoblins who, in like 2-3 levels, the players are going to have to go and oust out those hobgoblins. So I was thinking possibly they've started raiding because I just saw that at the same time you said it. Um, I was thinking that maybe the hobgoblins are hungry and they're lacking rations and basic logistical stuff, and maybe they have exhaustion. And if they can get back with these goods and the players don't catch this person in a chase scene, then the next time they get there in a couple weeks, well, they don't have exhaustion. They're pretty strong now, and now they have a bit more fortification with these alchemy jugs where they can throw oil off the walls, or they could fill their moats with the endless decanter now. So a small prize for the players to obtain, but having some deeper implications down the road. Making things harder for them. Maybe, maybe they have flying and they just go over the moat and who fucking cares. But endless of decanter of mayonnaise. Yes, we did the alchemy jugs potato. Um, I like this. What is the name of this again, Pixel? Cleansing stone. Maybe we could go a step further and say like the hobgoblins are starving and they're riddled with disease. Don't grind from your garments in person. Oh, it's just like a prestidigitation, so it's not parapet of wound closure. It can be anything. We're open for ideas. We're in brainstorm mode. Mm-hmm. um, let's see. Double the number of points. Those work. Ring of Regeneration. I don't want things to be too powerful too. They're currently level 3 or 4 when they're doing this. So if they decide to just steal this shit, and be bad all of a sudden, then it can't be like a handful of very rare items. So like, yeah, have 5 alchemy jugs. Who cares, right? Like, here, have an endless decanter of water. That's fine. I can work around those things. We've already talked about it a little bit, and I think I'll be okay. Metal of the meat pie. I don't know what that is. Stormy, you bring up a good point. There probably would be tracking on these items. Why? And but like also, so like this is what I've found is like everybody knows about the Flotian Estates. They've been there for hundreds of years. Everybody knows that 100, 200 years ago, there's hobgoblins there attacking in the name of the Red Wizards of Thay. Everybody is going to assume exactly where these hobgoblins are because it only makes sense. We're not stupid. Like, they're clearly coming from the Flotian Estates. There should be a few hobgoblins left. Like, that's the whole point of this quest and mission, that they're being pulled out for a scouting trip. So, the scrying of the items really doesn't It doesn't matter. Like, they'll know where they're going. So, like, yes, I think it's good to, like, have that. It's a good point to bring up. But I think narratively, I don't think it'll ever really come up. They all have maps of the area. They know exactly where this estate is. They're currently writing to this estate themselves. The thermal cube. $95 degrees Fahrenheit, hey? That's hot, 95. It has to be. I wonder if there's like right underneath. What temperature do things burn at? What's boiling? No, not the movie. Okay, so it's not. It doesn't boil water. It just keeps your tea warm. I think it would just maybe just like a collection of some potions. And like anything past that would just be like basic, like rations, bandages, etc. Mm. Mm. Yeah, I don't want to get into magic items of that potency. Mm. Love it. Let's see. Do bop bop bop. Let's see. 40 healing potions. Hmm. Robe of useful items, so it could be decent. What were you saying? I'm sorry, I was reading something. Taj Tej. I'm not sure. How do you spell it? Come again? One person? Tej? I'm not finding anything in D&D Beyond as Tej. Is it an equipment? It is. Yes. Yes, it is. Yep. There's an amber color fermented drink. It's mead. Wolf, I love it. You think I'm that organized of a person? you think I'm you think that come on now. I don't know how to do all that jazz. I'm an old millennial. Wolf typed exclamation Discord in my stream chat. So then I had to go and copy and paste the invite. It worked, didn't it? It so worked. You're so right. Hi, what's going on, Wolf? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, welcome to the Lore Masters Guild. I think I like this antitoxin. I think there's a lot of flavor stuff I can get out of here, out of just the equipment list, and not magical items. I mean, it could be good, but it's got me thinking, like, maybe it was, like, maybe there's some, like, sterile alcohol or stuff like that. Um, Basket Battle Axe. Yeah. Let's see. Munitions, chalk chest, climber's kit, clothing. I was thinking that maybe just component pouches. Make it real simple. You know, several component pouches. Um, mm, I assume the proprietors at Fair Fortune Hall can manage all that. They have a fair amount of druids and levels and stuff, so they'd be able to do most plant-based stuff. Like, it is a city that is like, well, I guess not. Actually, now that I'm talking about it, I'm literally going to start the campaign by telling a story about how this city just got or had a red dragon unleash its rage upon a whole swath of the city. And I literally had to prepare by destroying like 50 buildings in Daggerford. Like, they just had a cataclysmic event. Like, they would be getting aid from their partners in the Lord's Alliance. So maybe there would be mead and stuff like that. Grappling hook, grenade line. Fabricate, yeah. Yeah. So definitely, like, the theme is to keep it low level and mostly in, like, so, like, probably healer's kits would be a good one to have in there. I did not. I did not. I did not. Tabs are my life. Oh yeah, the ointment. F yeah. I played around with that ointment before. Yeah, I might change that number down. You're totally right. It's very strong. It was honestly like I was playing that like roguelike a few weeks ago, and I had like 3 or 4 of them. I was like, I'm spending all my money on this ointment because it's fucking overpowered. Yeah, that's I just threw some healer kits on there. I think like rations will go on there and just like some basic food stuffs. Um, and I guess so. Like narratively, this is going to be like the first sending of aid. This is like they're like we just got word about this happening. We're sending stuff down. I gotta look at my time frames though to make that official. I think it's 1485 is when. So this would be like 15 years post haste, post fuego. Yeah, so there'd be some time. You know, it's a better question. It is easier, right? But the question is, what is happening in Waterdeep at 1485? I think this is a great rabbit hole to figure out. uh, you never know, you know. Yeah, so I guess my original idea is making the most sense of just like this is like a yearly aid package that is sent to the Fair Fortune Hall, which is their followers of Shantae. So like the churches are just getting together. Yeah, like a monthly food box, but like more like a yearly, stipend of rations and supplies, just to help take the heat off of, the overly stressed, clerics of Daggerford. So everybody knows that Daggerford has been having a hard time. Okay, so Waterdeep was struck with another catastrophic event in the year of Silent Death, 1395 DR, when the putrescent anathema spread throughout its region of the north. The plague hit Golden Fields particularly hard, destroying much of the city's primary grain supply. The catastrophe reduced the city's population greatly, hitting its poorest citizens particularly hard. In the year of the 3 ships sailing, 1492, a number of agents and organizations, including the shady Xanathar's Thieves Guild, the greedy Zentarum, the enigmatic Harpers, and even the stalwart Lord's Alliance, sought to recover a cache of 500,000 gold dragons that was hidden somewhere within the city, a sum that was embezzled by the ousted former open lord of the city, Dagult Neverember. Is that Mad Dungeons Heist? The Mad Wizards? Yeah, Mad Mage. Yeah, is that Mad Mage? Let's see. Dagult Neverember was the Lord Protector of Neverwinter, formerly the Open Lord of Waterdeep. It's just this. I love skipping all the lore and just going down to. Is it okay? So it's the Dragon Heist. And it's also background honor among thieves. Yep, correct. So let's see. Well, in 1400, they had a famine, and then I'm gonna go figure out what the Dragon Heist is, so you can just have a footnotes on that. Waterdeep Dragon Heist. There we are. Okay. Yep, and that's kind of the beauty of what I do. And so what I've kind of done for certain things is if there's like certain implications that fall on Daggerford, I just assume the party wins in most cases. And like just find the ending that's the most fitting and just kind of move forward with it. Yes, and that is exactly what I want for my party. Is at any point in time they want so if they want to run Curse of Strahd and I can get my hands on Curse of Strahd, which I believe I already have it because of my good friend Ben. We guess where the first story prompt of Curse of Strahd starts? The western gates of Daggerford. So it's like, hey, we're already there, right? Let's go do Curse of Strahd. Bada bing. So. Oh, you do? Please, yeah. Could you private message me that in Discord? So let's see. Let's read here. Waterdeep Dragon Heist 5th edition adventure. The adventure runs through levels 1 and 5, and then is followed by the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Welcome to Waterdeep, famed explorer. Volothamp Gedarm needs you to complete a simple quest. Thus begin a mad romp through the wards of Waterdeep as you uncover a villainous plot involving some of the city's most influential figures. A grand urban caper awaits you. Pit your skull and bravado against villains, the likes of which you've never faced before, and let the dragon hunt begin. It's not set in a particular year, but is assumed to be around 1492. Nice. That sucks. You know what we do? We gotta go check out my OneDrive. yeah, right. It's like we just start digging. And if this doesn't work, then we'll go to what's it called? OneFlip, where I can just like have a PDF and flip the page. AnyFlip, yeah, go to AnyFlip. Fair enough. Definitely, it's a important thing about finding a party to play with is everybody's got to like vibe and mesh and fit into the mic space together, and sometimes that's hard to just manifest. Honestly, like I before the 3 sessions I'm in right now, I went through I think like 4 or 5 different parties where I was like I played and then I left really early or played for like a good period of time and was like, well, You know, we had some fun, but it's not really what I'm looking for. No, nothing on the OneDrive for Dragon Heist, sadly. Oh, collections, sources. You want it to be wholeheartedly honest? I've really played very little of the content of actual modules in the past like 5 years. I've done a little bit of Candlekeep, all of Fandevilar, and a little bit of Mad Mage. And other than that, it's all homebrew. Let's see. Hey, Psst, you want to know what's already shared with me? The Dragon Heist module. Let's see. A friend in need. Where to start? Zentarum Hideout. Key to the Yawning Portal. Poster map. What's the poster map? Ooh. That's okay. I believe I have everything here. Parting the honestly, like this is where I either have to just jump in here and oh, story overview. There we go. Mm, word. Okay, so I got the overview here. It is basically it is a treasure hunt against an urban backdrop. 500,000 gold coins are hidden somewhere in Waterdeep. Many individuals know about the cache and are looking for it. Adventurers can join the hunt and prevent the cache from falling into evil hands. The city is threatened by escalating tension between two power groups that is on the verge of flaring into violence. The Zentarum, a shadowy network of mercenaries, and Xanathar, the beholder crime lord of the Waterdeep, are at odds, and when they clash, the characters are pulled into the conflict. Agarion's Dragon Ward. Waterdeep is blanketed by an undispellable magical effect called Agarion's Dragon Ward. The effect originates from somewhere under Agarion's tower in the Castle Ward and is permanent. Dragons and all other creatures of the dragon type are physically unable to enter the city or its sewers as long as the Dragon Ward persists. The effect doesn't extend into the harbor or the Undermountain. Creature of the dragon type that is touched by the dragons of Agarion can ignore Dragon Ward and move through the city freely. The effects last until they are touched by the staff again. Dragon Staff is currently in possession of an adult gold dragon named Orinox, who guards a hidden vault under the city. Very nice. And that would be very recent because in 1485, a red dragon flew up past Waterdeep and ignored it and went to what are the mountains up there called? The Frost Peak Mountains. Frost Peak Mountains, I think. Yep, that's I believe that's where the dragon goes. The red dragon by the name of Carnisil. Yes. Nice. Have fun, my dude. Nice to meet you. Love it. Peace, peace. So this is actually kind of cool. I'm reading the overview. So you can choose your villains, and there's 4 villains, and each villain kind of sets the season. I don't know what importance that holds. Yeah, like quite literally, it makes it winter. Yeah, like I don't know what the importance of that, or if it's just like thematic or like flavor, but clearly picking like Zentarum or fucking the Beholder there is going to make large impacts and difference. The Manchun is the other one. Yeah, Xanathar, thank you. But I guess this is again the situation where, as like a world builder in being in 5e lore, I just need to assume the adventurers were able to obtain 500 gold dragons and the bad guys did not. And, you know, I'm just assuming the adventurers did the good thing. And that's kind of just like the unbiased decision I made for any running into of a module, because I can't do a Western mark of the entire community. Like, I have no idea what is going to happen. So I need to just pick a direction and always do the same thing. And I think it's just the adventurers win. Goes a long way. Oh, here we go. This might actually. So, Chapter 1, A Friend in Need. Volo gives the adventurers a quest and an estate as their reward. Lord Dagalt Neverember embezzles 500,000 gold pieces and hides them in the Vault of Dragons. Chapter 2, adventurers settle into their new estate and meet the neighbors. Dagalt hires a wizard to create a stone of Galore, then hides the artifact in the Palace of Waterdeep. Chapter 3, a fireball explodes in Troll Skull Alley, setting off an investigation. Dagalt leaves Waterdeep to rebuild Neverwinter and is ousted as Open Lord of Waterdeep. Adventurers then join the race to find and unlock the Vault of the Dragons. The Stone Galore is stolen from the Palace of Waterdeep at the end of and ends up in Xanathar's possession. Chapter 5. Adventurers invade Xanathar's dungeon under the city and confront the Beholder in its lair. As Zents loyal to Manchun try to forge an alliance with Xanathar, the Stone Galore is stolen. Adventurers storm the house of Castellanter and make a diabolical discovery. War erupts when Xanathar accuses the Zents of stealing the Stone of Galore, which they didn't do, because of course it was the Manchun. Those villains. Pesky villains. Adventurers then board Jarlax's ships and learn the sinister secrets of the Sea Maiden's Fair. Dalakar, a gnome thief working for Dagalt, tries to smuggle the Stone of Galore out of Waterdeep. Adventurers search Kolat Towers for Manchun's clone and find his extra-dimensional den. Dalakar is killed by a fireball spell. Urstal Floxen steals the Stone of Galore from Dalakar's corpse. And just doesn't feel like much stuff gets resolved here, except for probably the Manchun's fall. Xanathar remains in power as such, just doesn't have his Stone of Galore here, which is whatever, it's trivial. Zents might be at odds with Xanathar still, that's probably firm. And then Zentarum is just Zentarum. I believe I have ties of Zentarum and Daggerford as well. I need to refresh myself on them. They worked with the Nadir, who's an aberrant slad. forget their name by name, but it's there. It's somewhere. I'll find it eventually when it comes up. So interesting. Okay, so I mean, so politically, who's the lord? Who's the current lord? I have my lord's cheat sheet up here. Let's go find it. As of 1489, these are the members. Waterdeep, Open Lord Laeral Silverhand. Laurel. Let's learn about Laurel. She was born Anumane Silverhand, and formerly known as the Witch Queen of the North, and later the Lady Mage of Waterdeep. Was one of the Seven Sisters, a chosen of Mystra, and the Open Lord of Waterdeep during the 15th century. They led the Moonstars, a dissonant faction of the Harpers, which sought to guide the city and countries of the North toward a shared destiny. Okay, go Harpers. Activities, here we go. As of the late 14th century, Laurel spent most of her day instructing and looking after her partner's wizard apprentice at Blackstaff Academy. She also maintained Blackstaff Tower, ensuring its wards and stores were maintained. The rest of her time is spent coordinating the efforts of the Harpers, carry out Lord's Lions. She also counsel what to call blah. History, here we go. I can skip all of this early stuff. I just want to know what happens when she becomes the Lord. Here we go. The end of Laurel's stability was once again needed in the northern Sword Coast, and Mr. tasked Laurel with maintaining it by becoming Open Lord. Oh, okay. According to Mr. her presence would actually restrain abuse of magic for personal gain, and therefore limit the possibility that the general population could turn against wizards, blaming them for eventual disasters and blindly hunting all art wielders. Following Mister's request, Laurel returned to Waterdeep and swiftly managed to gain the support of the masked lords of the city, supplanting Daggerford Neverember as Open Lord circa the year of the Warrior Princess. Go Xena. She served as the representative. At some point during her lordship, she acquired a baby griffin and hired Trainov, a trainer, to raise the monster. Oh, that's an awesome little quest if my people ever find their way up to Waterdeep. We begin the quest of rescuing a baby griffin. We love it. Laurel, she's got a baby griff. Jump. Right? Isn't that cool? Baby griffin? It was stolen by Xanathar. He was pissed because he lost his stone galore. So he's like, I'm going to steal her baby griffin now. And I'm going to blame it on the Zent. Okay, cool. So, I mean, 1490, 1500, 10 years. Okay, so I think everything kind of sits the same. Sits the same as the way I first perceived it. So 130. So that means the story is going to be nap time. Hell yeah, team nap all the way. Halfway into the ride, the players come across a broken wagon with wounded priests of Shantea. They have been robbed of their goods. Aid and supplies for the Fair Fortune Hall. See this below. They have been around. And actually, I'm seeing kind of some duality in this mission because what I started to do, San, is like we always just tend to do, is start to write the story in the sense of the players will do this and the players will do that and the players will not do anything I tell them to do. The players will see the world around them and they will make a decision. So the players will see a broken wagon. They will see that these goods have been robbed. They will see the hobgoblins running away on the horizon. They will see the priests who require immediate medical attention that I will then put through any of whoever's the cleric. I'll just be like, oh, they definitely look like they need help. You notice this. And then I shut up. And then we see what they do. And in that shutting up process, I was like, oh, what happens if the players are like, if we're good enough and we go steal these goods back from the raiders, we can heal these priests. We don't have to ride them back to Daggerford. We could just heal them with the potions and stuff that they were bringing. They just don't have them anymore. Like, there's a million and one ways to help these people with magic and roleplay, right? So yeah, just write less. It's prepping less. It's so much more smart. It's smarter. It's more intelligent. The priests require immediate medical attention. Okay, we'll see ya. The priests require. And I could just narrate as they have like some open wounds that require some medical attention. Any potion or magical spell would fix that, and or just a proper healing. And this is all stuff that doesn't even need to be written. It's stuff that just like is. They will die. We'll ask the players how they think it best to absolve Solve. Absolve would be get rid of, right? To absolve the situation, to make it go away. Right? It would be to solve the situation. How do I think to it best to solve the situation? Okay, so encounter is as such. At level 3, Swansea will find them after their scheduled training and say she's got a special mission for you capable militia peoples. She'll give them a short briefing, a scouting mission to the north. Reports of caravans and traders are being attacked by hobgoblins, most assumedly from the Flotian estates. She instructs them to acquire a draft horse from the stable and meet them by the caravan gate the following morning. Halfway into the ride, about 2 hours of riding, the players will come across a broken wagon with wounded priests of Shantea. They have been robbed of their goods, aid and supplies for the Fair Fortune Hall. See the list below. The priests require immediate medical attention. Not obtained in 2 hours, they will die. No, I guess, yeah, let all that be, like, if they want to make perception checks to see stuff. I don't think there needs to be any firm checks or numbers. Swansea will ask the players how they think to best solve the situation, and she will be pleased with any method that prevents the priests from dying. Like, she's very much like, shoot the three-pointer, yo. As long as you make it. Yup. So very common in basketball, there's this mentality of when you shoot a three-point shot, it is a further shot away from the basket, so it's a much more difficult shot to make. And therefore, if you're going to shoot these low percentage shots, then, well, that's a bad thing, because you could have passed the ball or shot closer to the basket and taken a safer shot with higher odds. However, of course, that is always trumped by, if you do make that three-point shot, then nobody can say anything because it went in. So it's not like, oh, you should be taking inside shots, blah, 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 blah. No, it's like spray and pray. Kobe Bryant, like, if you make it, fuck you. Like, but if you miss that three, oh no, we're gonna be very upset with you. You should have been shooting a shorter shot. It should have been a layup. You should have passed it and gave it to your buddy for a layup. So it's just like this really funny, like, mentality of just like, you can kind of get away with anything as long as you win, you know, as long as you're successful. And it's, yeah, and I remember it because I played PAL basketball as a kid in middle school, and there's the older guys on the team that were all high schoolers and stuff, and they're all these really big, not that athletic type guys. They all played like offensive line in football. So like, you know, you'd surmise that these tall big guys might play down low, like a Shaq style, like get underneath the rim and stuff. No. They all played Steph Curry basketball, and it was probably the most comical thing, seeing these large men just like pulling up fading threes as much as they wanted, missing the ball all the time, but when they made it, oh yeah, it was on like Donkey Kong. Let's see here. Coming up on 2 hours. I think definitely scratched the surface of kind of getting myself back in the DM mode. I've definitely been distracted. I've been busy with work. I've been making maps and getting my health right. So that's all good things. It's good busy. So we love that, right? Um, but I'm gonna drop stream. Take it easy, everybody. Take care. We'll see y'all tomorrow for our regular noon stream, and of course 7 p.m. we have Vampire the Masquerade, where I will be playing Gwen Fury. Have fun, everyone.